This episode of Reza Riffs is brought to you by Live Event Production Cookies, creative space on Route 66 in the high desert. Enjoy an adventure on a historic Route 66 in the high desert. An intimate showroom with limited seating lends to a one-of-a-kind live stand-up comedy experience. Join nationally touring headliners as they pit stop on the way to from Los Angeles and Las Vegas to soak in the high desert at our Silver Lakes community for some R&R and the chance to work out new material and run through their full hours before recording them for specials that will air on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, HBO, Showtime, Comedy Central, and more. Come for a show, order baked treats delivered right to your doorstep for a taste of Dee's Kitchen anywhere, or book a night in the Covenant's Kakuli cabin for a high desert experience. Please visit deeskitchenproductions.com. Again, this episode of Raise the Riffs is brought to you by deeskitchenproductions.com. Order some delicious treats. I love them. Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, and review. Tell a friend. Thank you guys so much for all the cameo sensations. Getting me Kristy Swanson. I like to believe that you guys had a big part in this episode, and it meant a lot to me. And today is the day, folks. Kristy Swanson is on the podcast. You've seen her in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Chase, Dude, Where's My Car? And she's here on Reza Riffs. And it's one of my favorite episodes. It meant so much to me. And, when you interview a hero, you know it's a good day. So thank you so much for everyone who helped me. And I hope you really enjoy this interview as much as I had fun doing it. So thank you. Enjoy Razor Riffs with Kristy Swanson.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, Kristy Swanson.
Hey, Keith, how are you?
Doing good. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Sorry, I look kind of haggard here. Sorry.
Oh, no, you look beautiful to me.
Thank you. Well, it's a Monday, so it's crazy.
Well, before we start, I just want to say thank you so much for dropping the restraining order for this.
You're hilarious.
I knew you would like that. My mom was like, I don't think she would like her that because you stalked her forever. I was like, oh no, she'll love it.
No, I love it. I deserve it. Thank you.
So I got a lot of questions, so I want to respect your time. So I'll just go dive into it.
Okay.
With movies like now,
I'm at the ice rink right now, just so you know where I'm at.
Oh, okay.
That's my next destination. So.
All right. So with movies nowadays, with like superheroes where they like strong female leads, the thing about you is I feel you were one of the first ones, because when I was growing up, every movie I saw, you were like the lead and you were very strong, like even in Mannequin, Buffy, and even my favorite movie, The Chase. So I wanted to know what was your view of that? Did you see that when you were reading these scripts and doing these movies?
A lot of people bring that up to me. They're like, you're such a crusader, as far as, or a trailblazer for strong female characters. And the truth of the matter is that I grew up watching a lot of ladies. I'm the Bionic Woman and the character Samantha Stevens in Bewitched, which was Elizabeth Montgomery, and Wonder Woman, and I mean, there's so many watched as a young person, and so.
I think I'm losing you for a second.
Here, okay?
Yeah, I see you now.
You got me?
I got you.
Okay, sorry.
No worries.
I think that I was lucky to be able to play those kinds of roles, because I grew up watching, you know, like, I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, I watched Pippi Longstocking. I don't know if you know that character. She was
she had the
was a TV
braids
show
and
or
stuff.
a movie or something. Yeah, yeah. And I loved her when I was a kid. I just was like so in awe of that character. And so to me, it's like, it's cool to, to be a part of that genre of strong female characters in movies. So yeah.
Uh-huh.
And like Buffy, I mean, Buffy's not a superhero, but to many fans that I've met, Buffy is a superhero to them in many ways. Yeah.
She's definitely a superhero.
Okay.
so I had to cut all these questions because I want to respect your time, so I chose the best ones.
No. Okay, whatever you want to do. And sometimes I tend to ramble sometimes. I apologize.
No, I love rambling. What was it like being Ray Weiss's daughter?
Oh my gosh. Well, at the moment, I didn't even think about, I'm Ray Weiss's, playing. To me, it was just like another actor I was working with,
Yeah.
But he was super cool. He was super fun and hilarious on set. And I really enjoyed working with him. And he was great in the movie. I mean, he was perfect for the part. That's for sure.
Yeah. He's the second richest man compared to Donald Trump.
Is he really?
No, that was the quote in the movie.
Yes. Oh, that is. Oh my God, I never even thought about that. Because yeah, I remember back in the 80s, it was, I think Donald Trump was like the first millionaire or something in the US or the most famous or whatever. So, oh my God, that's funny. I forgot that was a.
And then I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard you had your own little chase story where cops were chasing you after the filming.
Yes. Yes. That was crazy. Like absolutely nuts. I couldn't, and I at that time, I've only owned a BMW one time, and mine wasn't very fancy. It was just like a 325i. It was like the lowest model or whatever. But I did have that vehicle. I just finished filming the chase. I was coming from, I don't know if I had meeting. I think I was coming from Century City in LA and going through Beverly Hills. I was coming from a meeting that I had. I think it was with my lawyers or an accountant meeting or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was driving through Beverly Hills, and in Beverly Hills in the flats, like not in the actual hills, but down in the flats, like where all the residential area is, where the Beverly Hills Hotel is, and before you get into like the town where all the shops are and the shopping and all that, I was in this residential area, and I'm driving down the street, and there's just stop signs, right? And then all of a sudden I see a red light in my rear view mirror, like flashing, going like just a single red light, and then I look a little further, and I was like, oh my God, that's not even a cop car, right? Like it wasn't even, it was just a regular old
homemade cop car.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a black and white, you know what I mean? So I'm like, holy crap. Then this man gets out of the vehicle and starts walking to my window like this.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, what do I do? And at the time, there were these stories going around in the news that there were several people posing as police officers up in like Mulholland Drive, like up in the actual Hollywood Hills, posing as police officers, and there were crimes happening with these people posing. It was scary, like rape situations. I was like, oh my God, is this guy for real? Because he wasn't dressed like a police officer. He had jeans on and a shirt and a vest. And I put my window down and I said, and he goes, driver's license and registration. And I said, wait. I go, are you a cop? He goes, yes, I am. And don't go anywhere. And as he's saying, don't go anywhere, he starts to reach like back behind him. And I see he's got a gun. And I just took off. I just literally in that moment just took off. I was like, hell no. So I just left. And he goes running back to, and I see him and I'm not speeding either. Like I know in that moment exactly where to go. I'm going to go to the Beverly Hills Police Station. I know where it is. I know if I get there, then I know I'm safe, right? So I'm driving. Now he's chasing me. I had a cell phone at the time, was a big NEC big phone. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those, but
the one with the antennas.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was like it was a couple years after that model, but it still was a big, heavy phone. So anyway, I'm calling 911 and I'm saying, I've been pulled over by someone who is either an undercover cop or one posing as a cop. I'm coming to you right now. I'm coming to the station. Please help me. Please help me, you know? And they're like, hold on, ma'am. They put me on hold. And I'm just driving and I'm just like, you know, it's not far. I'm just going through the streets. I'm not going fast or anything. Now I get to Beverly Drive, where there's like 5 corners there. And they come back on the phone. They said, ma'am, he is a police officer. Please pull over. Help is on the way. Or there's more units or whatever they said on the way. And the next thing I see is 2 black and whites from the right, 2 black and whites from the left, two from the back, 2 from the front. They all come. And it was literally, I couldn't make this shit up. It was like out of a movie. They surrounded my car and I'm sitting there crying my eyes out. I'm just literally bawling because I'm so terrified and upset. I'm white as a ghost. I'm just like, my hands were clear, like, so they could see, like, I wasn't doing anything wrong. The chief comes up to my door or my window and he says, what happened? And so I tell him and I go, that guy back there. And he goes, that's Harry Dexter. He is a police officer or whatever. I said, he pulled me over in an unmarked vehicle, as you can see, and not dressed, like, come on. Like, I got scared and I just came, you know. So anyway, I said, I live in Beverly Hills. I don't want anything bad with you guys. I swear to God, you know, they didn't even make me come out of the car. They saw I was crying. They saw that I was upset. And I mean, they were like, I mean, when they had surrounded my car, they even opened their doors in case I was someone with a gun or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I was just in tears, and they knew at that moment that the whole thing was just a bad situation. He really had no business pulling me over. Apparently, I was going, I think it was 35 and a 30, something like that.
Yeah.
So now Harry Dexter comes walking up to my vehicle, and he says, I got you going 35 and a 30. And I was like, so, you know, like, I was like, what, you know? And he goes, look at them. Cause I could see in my mirrors, they're all standing around now talking with each other and they're laughing. Yeah. He says, they're all laughing at you. And I said, they're not laughing at me. They're laughing at you. That's who they're laughing at. Yeah. I said at that point, I didn't care. I was so mad. But anyway, yeah, that happened. I remember telling that story on, was it Conan O'Brien or something like that years ago? Many years ago. But yeah, I had my own little chase situation happen.
I think you did the right thing because it's kind of scary, but also it would have been cool if the guy came up to you and just said, by the way, I loved you in the chase.
It hadn't come out yet. That was
it would have been great if it did.
I go, they're not laughing at me. They're laughing at you because I got away.
Yeah.
He actually shouldn't have pulled me over. And I think they were just happy for the whole situation to just end and go away. So, yeah.
Okay. So in Deadly Friend, you killed Ann Ramsey with a basketball, and the folks are just
Yeah.
curious, how hard did you throw that ball to kill somebody?
Well, I it's so funny because that was actually a reshoot. We had finished the film, and or I don't know if we had finished it. It didn't when they the original way I killed her was I broke into her house and I threw her through her own front door, and she goes crashing through the front door. And I guess the time of day or the lighting or whatever, when they looked at the dailies, it didn't look right. The stunt man or the stunt person who was doubling her, it just didn't work out. And also the studio wanted to make it more Wes Craven-esque,
Yeah.
a little more blood, right? So so they came up with this idea that the basketball was the thing that she took from us, right? So she, when it went into her yard, and so she took that. So this would be the thing that we're going to use or Samantha's going to get her back. So it was a trip. Like they made a head sculpt of her, so that they could kind of explode it. The special effects guys. They had a little person in a body underneath to move the body around after the head came off.
Yeah.
I got to, on camera, I got to throw the ball, a ton of times or whatever. Back then, not many because we shot on film and you really could only do, 5 takes at the most. So, because it was so expensive back then. But, yeah, I mean, I just, it's just a quick shot of me just throwing it. And then, and I was throwing it into basically on a C stand next to camera. They had put, they covered the camera with some Fernie pads, and then the camera guys were kind of covered, in case I hit them.
Yeah.
And then and I was just throwing it into a Fernie pad. And then when they did the actual special effect, the special effects guys threw the ball up for that one.
Yeah. And this is a
Yeah.
second part to that question. It's actually a joke question, but Danny
I like
DeVito,
joke questions.
Danny DeVito did a movie called Throw Mama Off the Train that starred Ann Ramsey. So when he filmed it, did he call you and ask for advice how to kill her?
Throw Mama from the Train. What a classic movie. No, he did not call me and ask for advice.
I would just been like, I would just call Kristy. She succeeded.
Yeah, I did succeed. I guess I gotta tell you, that woman, the nicest, sweetest, funniest, most lovely lady you could ever meet. Like, just a joy to be around. You know what I mean? Like, on the days she was working, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, Anne's coming in, So loved working with her.
And then this is actually one of my favorite movies, but I feel I'm in a small group of people who agree. But I loved Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag, and I thought that was because it was just all about the jokes. You know what I mean? So like, so I wanted to say, like, when you read that script, did you get that vibe too? That it was just more jokey than real story?
Oh yeah, it was campy. It was dark comedy meets it's a little bubblegumish and campy. You know what I mean? It was never meant to be serious. It was just an over the top version of, I guess, a mob movie or something. You know what I mean? It's kind of like making fun, like a parody.
Yeah.
So, and then I got to tell you, a lot of people ask me, what was your favorite movie that you ever did? Blah blah blah. And I don't have a favorite because it for me it literally has nothing to do with maybe how successful it was or how great the script was or it's all based on experience, right? So right. I like The Phantom because it was such an adventure and I got to travel the world and I made such great friends on that film. So it's all about my memories. And even though Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag didn't do so great in the box office, it's okay it doesn't like upset me a bit. I mean, like I loved working on that movie, and I did my job. You know what I mean? I don't have any control over how they market it or how they edit it or whatever, right? I it's not that's uh my job's over once we're done making the movie. But the cast on that movie was so hilarious, like absolutely over the top. I wish we had a behind the scenes person following us the entire film,
Like the
because
bloopers.
that would have been even funnier than the movie was. You know what I mean? Like Diane Cannon, George Hamilton, I call it George Hamilton, David Spade, and literally everybody. And then our crew was so funny as well. So it was such a great fun environment, and it was one of those movies where I would laugh until I cried, like just cry laughing all day, every day. So that's a great memory for me.
This episode of Reza Riffs is brought to you by Live Event Production Cookies, creative space on Route 66 in the high desert. Enjoy an adventure on a historic Route 66 in the high desert. An intimate showroom with limited seating lends to a one-of-a-kind live stand-up comedy experience. Join nationally touring headliners as they pit stop on the way from Los Angeles and Las Vegas to soak in the high desert at our Silver Lakes community for some R&R and the chance to work out new material and run through their full hours before recording them for specials that will air on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, HBO, Showtime, Comedy Central, and more. Come for a show, order baked treats delivered right to your doorstep for a taste of Dee's Kitchen anywhere, or book a night in the Covenant's Kakuli cabin for a high desert experience. Please visit deeskitchenproductions.com. Again, this episode of Raise the Riffs is brought to you by deeskitchenproductions.com. Order some delicious treats. I love them. All right. And then this is actually a business. Like, I apologize. This is one of the ones I haven't seen, but Bound by Lies, which you starred, but you were also a producer. And I wanted to know, like, from a business aspect, what is actually a producer? Because I always thought it was about people bringing fruits and vegetables.
It's true. I did. I brought the veggie platter to set every day with the ranch dressing, and that's what we had at craft service. So I was the producer. I think it was just a glorified title, to be honest with you. I didn't actually produce the film. Produce, whatever. I think it was just an extra credit thing that they do sometimes on some movies, maybe for budget reasons. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's not like I had, a bunch of. It's more like a co-producer credit or something like that. But I was not bitch in charge on the movie.
Oh, okay. And then I'm sorry we're jumping around here, but Big Daddy.
I don't care.
Big Daddy, which I feel is one of the most perfect films ever, like just beyond perfect. Great jokes, great story. And you were actually the bad guy in it.
Was I?
Yeah, you cheated on Sandler with Sid. His 5-year plan.
I know, but I had it with Sonny. He just didn't have his shit together, Like, yeah. I think it's too bad we didn't get to know Vanessa and him a little bit more prior to our storyline. But obviously we were just a bad match, and it was fun. It was a funny character. Like, she thought she had her shit together, but she really didn't.
Definitely.
And yeah, that movie was freaking awesome. And Sid, by the way, I I don't have his name off the top of my head at the moment, but the actor. But the one thing about Sandler that's so cool is he always casts people in his movies like there's always a story or a reason behind it. And that particular guy who played that character was his acting, I don't know what acting professor, or because Sandler went to NYU, and so that guy was his acting coach at NYU.
Oh
And
my
so
God, really? Wow.
yeah. So he brought him in. It's kind of like playing homage, or you know what I mean? Like, respectfully hiring the people that helped him. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is just, I think that that's so super ultra freaking cool, So, so it was great that I'm sure it was great for him, the actor who played Sid, but to be on set and watch Adam. I'm sure he watched him on Saturday night and all that, but to be on set and actually be working for someone that you actually helped get to where they are, you know what I mean? That's got to be cool.
So a quick story: when I interviewed Alan Covert, who I love, but I was
I
pretty
love Alan. I love him.
yeah, I was pretty aggressive with him too about doing my podcast. And then after he said, "Oh my God, I should have done it 5 years ago," I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "So since I
feel the
love
same
you,
way.
so so he's like, since I love you, Keith, I'm gonna call whoever in my phone and tell him to do your podcast. Who would you pick?" And I thought for sure he would say I would say Sandler, and I said Kristy
Yeah.
Swanson.
And what did he say?
He said he didn't have your number, but
Yes, he does. He's so full of it.
but no, I just want you to know, like you're one of my heroes, so that's why I
Oh, that's
chose
so
you.
funny. And
Okay,
I just saw Joey Lauren Adams a couple weeks ago. Actually, I hadn't seen her in a really long time, and we did the program, and that's where I first met her. And then we were both in Big Daddy, which was cool. So it was nice to hang out with her. Hadn't
yeah,
seen her in a while.
she was the good guy,
Yes, she was.
and
She
then
was.
uh, I feel you're gonna laugh at this one, but Dude, Where's My Car? That scene where you come in with Ashton Kutcher and Sean William Scott. What was it like
Uh-huh.
filming that? Because I think Sean William Scott's the funniest guy in the world, and I would, if I was a girl, I would just be cracking up just filming that scene.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, the character's name was very funny. I mean, that kind of said it all, right?
Yeah. The
Um,
hottest of the hot.
I know, and I was just, to be honest with you, I was just so flattered that they asked me to do it, because there's a lot of beautiful women in Hollywood. I mean, anybody could play that part. Like I was like, really? Okay, thanks. And then when I was shooting, I was just flattered, and then because it's not like I'm, you would think it would be a supermodel or something like that, but anyway, it wasn't. It was just plain old me. But Ashton apparently, well, this is what he told me when we were making. He goes, "You have no idea. You have not. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. We're like kissing you and we're doing this thing together. I've been the biggest fan of you since the chase." Like he was going on and on about how he was a fan of the chase, and I was just laughing so hard, and they were great, and they were very funny. And I mean, I didn't get to be on the whole movie, you know what I mean? Because I really just did that one scene, and then I did something at the end with the big uh
Hot,
what was
hot
the
chick
ending?
monster. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The Amazon woman or whatever. And so I didn't really get to see all the shenanigans that went on set every single day, but the time that I spent there was really fun. I had a great time. Absolutely.
So I have four more questions, but I want to respect your time. This
Oh
is
no,
true.
we're fine.
Oh, okay.
We're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, true or false, Kristy? Is it true that you auditioned for The Mask?
The Mask?
Yeah,
Mm,
it's a movie with Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah. I know the movie. I just don't remember if I auditioned for it or not. What year was that, I wonder?
It's probably 94, 95-ish.
94, 95. I might have been, those were busy years for me. Like, I think I was doing 94, 95. I feel like, because Buffy was 92, we filmed in 92. I feel like the program and the chase and a couple other I'm blanking right now on the other movies at that time, but I just feel like I might have been working or busy at that time. I don't know, but I did do a lot of work those years.
All
So
right.
I don't recall auditioning for it. And I certainly know I didn't get an offer for it. So I don't think so. Maybe I was considered, but I wouldn't have necessarily known.
Yeah. No, I understand because I do stand up and I don't remember all the places I do stand up at. So like when people say they saw me somewhere, I'm just like, oh yeah. I
Really? Where? What town is it? Give me a landmark so I can remember.
um but I wanted to ask you because like I know, and if this gets a little emotional, I because like I lost my best friend 2 years ago, and I find stories about him really helps me cope. So I wanted to ask, do you have any cool Luke Perry stories?
Now you got me.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's go to the next
No,
question.
no. It's because not just because of Luke. It's because I'm an incredibly sensitive person, and so uh to hear that you lost your friend is heartbreaking to me. And so I just want to tell you that I feel for you, and I'm so sorry that you
Uh,
lost your friend.
I still tweet him, so I feel that that helps me. Like, I think everyone
Uh-huh.
on Twitter thinks I'm weird because I tweet a dead guy, but it helps me cope. You know what I mean?
You got to do what you got to do. You
Yeah.
know, you just got to do what you got to do. For me, it was weird. You know, it's like it's something that I didn't. I don't know how to explain it because it's not like Luke and I. I mean, we stayed in touch over the years after the movie and everything, and we were friends. But we weren't like hangout friends, you know, like see
Yeah.
you every weekend or every month or whatever. It was more like when I run into you, or I might see him at a Comic Con, or I might text him, he might text me, how you doing? How's the kids? We always stayed in touch is my point. And always very fond of each other and loving and kind as friends. And so when he was rushed to the hospital, like I really truly believed that he was going to pull through it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize or know because I wasn't a part, you know, like wasn't in touch with his fiance, or like I didn't have all the information. And I just thought for sure he's too young. He's too young, he's too strong, he's too all these things in my head. And so when I heard that he passed, it hit me so hard. Like I never thought I like literally cried for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And then you know the media wanted to speak to me immediately, and I couldn't because I knew that I couldn't keep myself together to even speak. And I waited like 5 days or so before I even talked to Variety or Hollywood Reporter or whoever it was. And I couldn't get through the interview. I just kept and I kept apologizing that I said I'm so sorry that I can't. I just couldn't. All the memory, you know what I mean? All your memories.
Oh yeah. Because
And
whenever I do interviews, people like the only things they talk about is what's it like having Asperger's syndrome, and then what was it like touring with Norm Macdonald. So it's like that's all they ask me. So I get that, you know what I mean? So but like I said,
Norm,
yeah, but
yeah, Norm was awesome. Norm was awesome.
yeah.
I yeah, I don't know. I gotta tell you, one of the most healing things for me, well, I did go to like a celebration of life for him, and saw a few people there, and yada yada yada. But even though I know all the 90210 people, I wasn't a part of that group, but we all were friendly with each other, kind of thing.
Because you lived in Beverly Hills, right?
No, not at the time. I don't think at the time. But I remember when the LA riots happened, and we all were fleeing Los Angeles, and it took us 2 hours to get over cold Laurel Canyon, just to drive over, and we all met up as like Nick Cassavetes and Priestley and Luke, and like just a whole group of us around the same age, and we all hung out at this one house just to get out of the LA riot situation for a couple days. But the one thing that really was healing to me, and Britt Baker spearheaded this. Britt Baker's a all elite wrestling. She's the what do they call her? She's the dentist. She's got the long blonde hair. She's a wrestler, and she invited me to the show. And Luke's son, Jack Perry, who is Jungle Boy, is in that show.
Oh.
And I remember, like having lunch with Luke one day. He's like, "Oh, Kristy," or Swanee. He always calls me Swanee. "Swanee, you got to look at this video of Jack jumping from the roof of the house into the pool, like doing all these stunts and stuff like that." He was so proud of his son, so incredibly proud. So when I went to the show in North Jersey, where the Devils plays, like an arena show, it's like a big wrestling show. Chris Jericho's in it, and blah blah blah. And I saw Jack climbing up. He was doing a cage fight, and he's climbing all the way up to the top, and he's gonna do a dive down. And when he got to the top, and he kissed his dad, I was just bawling.
So sweet.
I'm like front row, and then his sister is over there, and his mom, and it was just so incredibly special. And I, so many emotions. I'm like, damn, I wish you were here, Luke, to see this, But it was just so special. It was incredible, and an absolute honor to be there. And I'm just so proud of him. And I know Luke would be so proud of it. He'd be his biggest fan, that's for sure.
I only met Luke Perry once, but I have a great Luke Perry story for you.
I'd love to hear it.
So my adopted uncle does a celebrity golf tournament every year, and Luke was one of the celebrities. So he's talking to all these underprivileged children and stuff, and then he's like doing meet and greets with people. And this girl, she must have been my mom's age or whatever. She's like, "Oh my God, I had the biggest crush on you." And I'm standing right by Luke Perry because I wanted to ask him about Buffy and if he'll do my podcast, stuff like that. And so he's talking to her, and he's like, "Where do you go to high school?" "I don't remember the school," she said, "so I'm going to improv." And she's like, "Oh, I went to Debbie Kelly High School." And Luke Perry's like, "Oh my God, I went there too." She's like, "Really? Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I think you were in my class." And he's just cheering this girl up. And she's like, "Did you ever graduate?" He's like, "No, I stopped because I became an actor." It's just so funny. And it was just the funniest thing because like he put this huge smile on this girl's face, and I just thought that was so funny and cute,
But he didn't really go to that high school.
No. He told her, but he got her to, yeah. But it was just so funny because like, I think
I remember correctly, he was a cheerleader.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm almost positive he was like one of the, there's the cheerleaders, but then there's the couple guys that are there and they throw them in the air or whatever, have them stand on their shoulders.
We call them the cheer players.
I'm almost positive he told me that. He could have been lying. Who knows?
All right. So 2 more questions. These are fast questions. Kristy, how many cameo sensations did you get for Keith Reza?
How many what?
Cameo sensations.
What's a sensation?
It's where I tweeted and Instagrammed, and I had all my followers try and get me cameos from you.
have no idea how many. Oh my God, you are so funny. Oh my God, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I wanted to see how popular I am. I don't know.
I know. Well, we'll find out when this podcast comes out. Is it coming out today or
Oh,
tomorrow, or are we live? Oh my God, I look
we are
like
not
hell.
live. No,
Okay.
I'll text you when it comes out because there's is a question I have to ask you off air. And then
Okay.
the last question I have for you, Kristy Swanson, is if you could go back in a time machine and talk to a younger Kristy Swanson, what and you know what you know now, what would you tell her to cheer her up and say everything's going to be okay?
Cheer her up.
Or you know what I mean, like give her advice, yeah.
Oh, give her advice. I always say this one thing. It might sound really stupid to you, but for me, it's kind of important. As far as like my craft and my work, because I've been doing it since I'm 9 years old.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I never learned to do, which I wish I had learned to do or got comfortable doing, would be public speaking and live stage performance.
Oh, I think you should do stand up.
I probably would be better doing stand up. I could do a show with you.
That would be so
like
great.
You'd be George Burns and I'll be Gracie. Like we'll be like a team.
Yeah, I could help you. Yeah, that would be so great. That would be a dream come true. Oh my God. I'm so glad you said that and you didn't say don't do Keith's podcast.
No. I've done it. I want to do it again. I gotta come up with more shit to talk about.
Oh, like I said, I've been preparing for 4 years, so I knew in my heart this was going to be the best interview ever for you.
Has it been that long? My God, I've been in a cloud the last 3 years. The last 3 years has been weird for all of us.
Definitely.
Let's just call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Speaking of spade, just kidding.
Well, Kristy, where can the folks at home follow and support you?
Well, I'm on Twitter. I do need to get the blue check mark. I keep forgetting to do that. I don't think I know how.
Yeah.
Maybe I need young people like you to help me with that kind of stuff. I am at Chris, like the at sign or whatever, Kristy Swanson. That's Kristy. And XO. X is hugs and kisses, or kisses and hugs. So yeah. Kristy Swanson XO on Instagram and on Twitter. I used to be on Facebook. I got kicked off of Facebook. I don't know, like 3 years ago. I had gotten suspended because I posted a video of my wedding, from my wedding, and they said that I infringed on the copyright of the video, and so my account was suspended. And I was like, wait a second, it's me, it's my likeness.
Yeah.
I own the video along with Entertainment Tonight, because they had the exclusive at my wedding, right? So they got to film my wedding and, not advertise it, but like as, entertainment news, whatever. And I also did a stunt at my wedding, so they wanted to film that. And so I just posted it because I have a contract with ET. We both own the footage. So apparently some 22-year-old that works in Facebook or whatever decided that I had infringed on the copyright, and they thought it belonged to ET. But because I don't like writing long emails. I don't like I just was kind of like so pissed and bummed all at the same time that I was like, F it. Yeah. I'm not even gonna write a letter. You know what I mean? Like I was like, you know what? Screw them.
That's Facebook for you. They don't let you post happiness.
I guess not, but it was a damn good stunt of me falling down the stairs at my wedding, and most people like it. I don't know, but
Well, Kristy Swanson, thank you so much. And if you could stay on for 1 second so I could stop recording and ask you something, that would be great. But I
Yeah.
love you very much, and thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for being so patient with me. Thank you.
Of course.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
This episode of Reza Riffs is brought to you by Live Event Production Cookies, creative space on Route 66 in the high desert. Enjoy an adventure on a historic Route 66 in the high desert. An intimate showroom with limited seating lends to a one-of-a-kind live stand-up comedy experience. Join nationally touring headliners as they pit stop on the way to, from Los Angeles and Las Vegas to soak in the high desert at our Silver Lakes community for some R&R and the chance to work out new material and run through their full hours before recording them for specials that will air on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, HBO, Showtime, Comedy Central, and more. Come for a show, order baked treats delivered right to your doorstep for a taste of Dee's Kitchen anywhere, or book a night in the Covenant's Kakuli cabin for a high desert experience. Please visit deeskitchenproductions.com. Again, this episode of Reza Riffs is brought to you by deeskitchenproductions.com. Order some delicious treats. I love them.